All right, what's up, college football fans, quarterback fans? Welcome to another QB Spotlight video. In this video, we're talking about South Carolina quarterback Spencer Rattler, what he needs to do this week against Georgia to potentially help and lead the upset against them. Even though they're, 4-ish touchdown underdogs, there's still always a chance. There's always a pathway. There's always a few keys that can potentially lead to that upset. So we're going to dive into 3 or 4 keys of Spencer Rattler and talk about what we feel like he needs to do against Georgia and watch one clip at the very end that kind of demonstrates all these keys together. But if this is your first time tuning in the QB Spotlight channel, we are sincerely thankful. Thank you for tuning in. We talk all things quarterbacks from different previews like this. We do recaps, and we have a podcast that we have current and former quarterbacks that come on the podcast. But today's video, Spencer Rattler. Few keys that I think are crucial for him to have success against Georgia or to pull the upset. But before we get into that, I think the team as a whole is going to have to play perfect, right? Like from offense to defense, from offensive line to running backs to special teams, the team as a whole is going to have to play perfect to pull off the upset. The receivers, right? The receivers had, I think, 4 drops against North Carolina. That can't happen. To win the game against Georgia, you have to be perfect. Georgia's defense, now granted the teams they've played aren't great, caliber offenses, right? Like South Carolina is by far their toughest opponent. So I think they've kept their defense pretty vanilla so far. Now they've only given up 2 completions of more than 20 yards. So nothing's really happening against their defense. They've had some sacks, some hurries, but they haven't needed to do anything creative to have success against Ball State and whatever FCS school that they played. So what I think they're going to try to do against Rattler is, one, of course, get pressure. Best case scenario for them is if they can get pressure just bringing 4 guys and sitting 7 guys back. That's, of course, the ideal scenario. Maybe they have to bring more, but they're going to try to get pressure against Rattler, especially with some of the offensive line play that you saw against North Carolina in week 1. So with that said, let's talk Rattler. What are the keys to this Georgia's defense? Well, I think number 1, to protect your offensive line, to protect the ball, to protect just from turning the ball over, to protect from giving the ball over too quickly is you got to get the ball out quick. You got to avoid sacks. You don't want to be playing from 3rd and 15, 2nd and 12, right? You want to avoid sacks. I think if you can get the ball out quickly and do it early, then I think that's a way to avoid sacks and give your offensive line some help too, and then maybe even slow down that pass rush. If you get some completions and get in a little rhythm, you can potentially slow down that pass rush. But at the same time, let's be honest, I think there's going to be some pressure on Rattler. Regardless if it's the offensive line's fault, regardless if Rattler holds on to the ball too long, regardless if it's a little bit of both, there's going to be some pressure on Rattler, and that's okay, right? That's okay. A lot of times you can have success against pressure still. So with that said, I think key number 2 is you have to perform well under pressure, not from like the game standpoint, but from people in your face, from getting hit, whether it's blitzing or just 3 or 4 down linemen. I think there's going to probably be some pressure, so you got to perform well against pressure. Rattler's been lights out whenever he's been in a clean pocket, like absolutely lights out so far. But to win this game, he's going to have to be lights out against pressure too. And so far, he's been good against pressure. He has played well against pressure. We're going to see a clip against North Carolina where he delivers a strike with pressure in his face. But he's going to have to do that repeatedly over and over again to beat Georgia, in my opinion. Versus pressure so far this year, he's 9-16 for $179 and a touchdown, 11.2 yards per attempt. I think that's pretty good. It's actually fantastic. Against the blitz, he's 12-16 for a tutty and a $136. So he's done good against the blitz. He's done good against pressure. Granted, the week 2 who they played, the FCS team, obviously not great competition, but against North Carolina, he played pretty well. And he played pretty well under pressure, and I thought he did a pretty good job pushing the ball downfield against pressure. You're going to have to do that against Georgia. Then number 3, this may be the obvious one, but you're going to have to hit on some vertical shots. You're going to have to, you can't dink and dunk your way. I know at the beginning of the video or a few minutes ago I just said the ball has to come out quick, and it does, but it eventually has to lead to some vertical shots downfield, regardless if it's early, midway, or late. Probably not late because it's going to be too late in the game, right? So, but you're going to have to eventually take some shots downfield. So far, Rattler's been really good downfield. He's been really good pushing the ball downfield. His yards per attempt are 10.6, and last year they were like 7.5, 7.6, so almost 3 more yards per attempt. Now, granted, it's only 2 games in, it's a small sample size, but still, that's what you want to see. He's also 6-10 on balls 20 yards plus downfield for 247 yards and 2 touchdowns. So if you can hit on 2 or 3 of those, I mean, you saw how Texas was able to beat Alabama. Now, granted, it's not that big of a gap as far as like what the spread's saying it should be, but still, he was able to hit on some big deep shots that were huge for them. So I think Rattler's going to have to do that as well, right? So again, it comes down to the full team playing perfectly together. It's not just a Rattler thing, right? But we're a quarterback channel, so we just spend time talking about the quarterback position. So just to recap, overall takeaways for Rattler to have success and to potentially lead the upset against Georgia, whole team plays lights out. We know that. But for Rattler, the ball has to come out quick. Avoid getting 3rd and 15, 2nd and 12, whatever it may be. Avoid those long downs and distances. Ball comes out quick. You have to hit on some explosive plays, just like you've been doing in the season so far. That's been great, but you have to continue to do that. And then you have to perform well under pressure, with pressure in your face repeatedly, time after time, not just for one good series or one good play, but time after time. And if Rattler can do all those things, I think the recipe is there for the potential upset. I'm not saying they're going to go do the upset. I'm not picking that, of course. I'm just trying to create a pathway or scenario that if Rattler does these things, then there's a chance for South Carolina to be in the conversation for an upset, right? Again, a lot of stuff has to happen. Way more stuff than these 3 keys for Rattler. Way more stuff than the team playing great. A lot of things have to happen. But yeah, quarterback channel, quarterback show. So we just want to make a quick video talking about Spencer Rattler. And we're going to watch one quick clip before we get out of here. And it's a clip from Rattler against North Carolina. He's doing a really good job staying in the pocket, taking a hit. It's a good demonstration of what Rattler is going to have to do against Georgia to be in the position in the 4th quarter that they want to be in. But if you like this video, hey, like, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. It really does help. And again, this is broadcast footage you're about to watch, so it's going to be a little funky. It's not as good as the all 22, but it's kind of getting more and more difficult to have a ton of this, film content on YouTube. But we do want to show a clip demonstrating what we talked about. So with all that said, here's a clip. All right, so this throw from Rattler is unreal, and something we talked about in the beginning of the video was being able to throw under pressure, being able to throw with pressure in your face, something he's done well on. He's been lights out, whenever he's kept clean, but he's been really good when pressure's been in his face as well, and I think it's fair to say Georgia's going to try to do that, right? So here's a good example of throws Rattler probably going to have to make against Georgia for them to pull off the upset, doing really good pressure in his face. So I think North Carolina brings 5, right? So this blitz, they bring 4 with a DB here, but pressure gets to him regardless, right? DB's covering the man here. Rattler already sees pressure, moving in his pocket. Watch him take the hit here. Again, broadcast footage, I apologize. Like that. Takes a shot. Boom. That's a shot, right? But his eyes are downfield the whole time and is able to throw a big-time throw. This is a 3rd and 9. It's in the 1st quarter, I believe. But look at that. There's a big-time throw for a 1st down against North Carolina, right? So a 3rd and 9. Let's watch it one more time. Boom, boom, boom. Again, broadcast footage. Apologize. He's in the pocket. Moves in the pocket. Pressure. Boom. Takes the shot. Delivers downfield for a 1st down anyways, right? So I think these type of throws Rattler's going to have to make. Maybe he's not taking a crazy shot like that every play, but pressure in his face. And if he's able to make those throws, and South Carolina can stay in the game, I think that's one of the main keys that Rattler needs to do for South Carolina to have a shot at pulling this upset. But I want to hear from you, Georgia fans or South Carolina fans. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching and tuning in. We sincerely appreciate it. And like, share, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff. We'll see you next time. Peace.